Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Chapter 2, Section 7 of the online video course Chinese Traditional Culture and Spiritual Healing. I'm Peng Keming, your friend, and also a teacher at Guangdong University of Foreign Studies. Are you ready?
Professor, I felt that Zhuangzi maintained his inner peace by blocking others' judgments in evaluation. If this is so, shall I walk my own path and ignore others' judgments?
In psychology, there is a theory of attribution, first proposed by psychologist Fritz Heider. Attribution is the analysis of the cause of an outcome. Attribution is divided into external and internal attribution. Simply put, if we attribute the cause to an internal factor, namely to find the cause in ourselves, it is called internal attribution. If we attribute the cause to an external factor, it is called external attribution. Psychology believes that if the result is a failure, usually the pessimistic approach is to attribute the failure to internal causes, which is often done by depressed people, while the optimistic approach is to attribute the failure to external causes. If the result is successful, the explanation is just the opposite. Usually, the pessimistic approach is to attribute success to external factors, while the optimistic approach is to attribute success to internal factors. For example, if I failed to be selected as an excellent teacher, a pessimistic view would be I am not competent enough, and I would attribute the failure to myself. However, an optimistic view would be there must be some under-the-counter deals, and judges do not know what makes an excellent teacher, and I would attribute the failure to others. On the other hand, if I succeeded in the excellent teacher's selection, a pessimistic view would be those truly excellent teachers were absent in the selection, and I attribute the success to others. While an optimistic view would be I am competent, and I attribute the success to myself. Psychologists found that people generally tend to have internal attribution to success and external attribution to failure. For example, when I took part in the activity of selecting excellent teachers, and I won, I would attribute the success to my own competence. But if I fail, I would attribute the failure to an external factor, like there must be some under-the-counter deals. Such pattern of attribution seems natural to us, since we are always self-protective. And such a pattern of attribution might be beneficial for the short term, because it can enhance our self-esteem. But this is most likely an attribution error, because it cannot help us to reflect on ourselves and find our own problems. On the face of it, Zhuangzi and Wang Yangming used a pattern of attribution that others' criticism has nothing to do with me. However, the attribution method of Zhuangzi and Wang Yangming is in nature different from the one as mentioned above. We cannot just observe Zhuangzi's truly independent on others' judgments and ignore his self-improvement, which we will focus on in later chapters. In addition, we cannot just observe Wang Yangming's non-acknowledgement of others' criticism and ignore his practice of having an upstanding nature. It is precisely because they have worked very hard in self-improvement to achieve an upstanding and selfless nature and a firm confidence in the soul that they can be sure of the illegitimacy of the source of the criticism, and thus attribute criticisms to the external factor. To make an inappropriate analogy, take the selection of excellent teachers we mentioned above as an example. Zhuangzi always considers first being an excellent teacher instead of being selected as an excellent teacher. This is the supreme principle to improve himself, and he is highly disciplined and very willing to do so. So he let go of his expectations for the selection of excellent teachers and feels relieved, even not considered as an excellent teacher by others. Therefore, freedom comes from self-discipline and inner strength. Self-discipline is awareness of external temptations, while inner strength is to do one's best. Freedom without self-discipline is self-indulgence. When I want to indulge myself in video games, I indulge myself in video games. When I want to take drugs, I take drugs. When I want to attack others, I attack. When I want to have fun, I have fun. This reckless freedom advocated by some liberal thinkers was absolutely not proposed by Zhuangzi. Yu Jian, a poet that I admire, once wrote, "Zhuangzi is a bohemia." I do not think Zhuangzi is a bohemia. Bohemia is commonly known as gypsy and is now a cultural symbol. It represents a lifestyle that features independence, romance, and freedom in world travel, which is often practiced by gypsies. Such a lifestyle has been favored by many in the Western cultures. There are some examples like the Beatles, the Beat Generation, and the Lost Generation. Indeed, both Bohemia and Zhuangzi are unconventional, uninhibited, and yearn for freedom. However, there are huge differences between them. Bohemia seeks to satisfy one's needs and desires, while Zhuangzi restrains from his desire. Bohemia could be argued to be lost or confused, feeling upset about their real life and like to live elsewhere and look forward to encountering better sceneries elsewhere. Zhuangzi, however, was determined. He knew exactly what he attempted to do by self-training. Bohemian freedom comes from doing whatever I feel like, while Zhuangzi's freedom comes from not doing what I feel like. Bohemians would say, in a willful way, that I feel lost and I do not trust your values. You do not want me to be beaten or lost, but I just want to be beaten and lost whenever I want. Zhuangzi, however, would say, I am very determined. I trust my own values. It is not important what you want me to become. I will not be beaten because I don't want to be beaten. I will not be lost because I don't want to be lost. Many rebels hold the principle that I walk my own path and ignore others' judgments. For them, the life advice of Zhuangzi would be this: don't rush on the decision of which way to take. First, decide what kind of person you want to be. This is the end of Section 7, Chapter 2. Before you finish, I have a question for you to think about, and you could see the question on the screen. When you are in doubt, how do you find a way out? Think about it for a minute. Thank you for watching, and see you